Hello, I welcome all of you to my English class. Today we will read priceless gift chapter or part 3. Part 3. Already we have covered part 1 and part 2. Today we will learn part 3. In part 1 and part 2 we knew the story that both after the conversation in the restaurant, both Maggie and writer came to Maggie's house. That time Maggie's mother was busy in the kitchen room. He was making cakes. And writer passed few minutes in the Maggie's house and received the tea and returned. And in the meantime, some months already have passed. Several months passed. Chapter 3. Several months have passed. I visited Maggie and Mrs. Rethi again for the second time. But no news had come from Funky till now. Maggie was a soldier in Punjab, India. But no news is coming from Maggie. No news coming from Funky to Maggie's house. But no news had come from Funky. For this, Mrs. Rethi was sick. Sick means ill. Means mother always remember the son, no news from the son. So Mrs. Rethi was sick. Mrs. Rethi was ill. In serious condition. Not only ill, but also in serious condition. And aggravated by her anxiety for Frankie. What love and affection towards Frankie was, by remembering and thinking, he became serious ill and became serious condition. Okay, aggravated. Aggravated means more serious. I was in a fix. Seeing it, looking this, when second time writer went to there, I was in a fix. That means I was in dilemma. I was in fix means I was in dilemma. What to say, what not to say, I became constant. Serious condition. What could I say to console the mother? What I will say to console the mother? Console means to make somebody happier when he is sad. To make somebody happier when he or she is in sad. This is console. Only God knew whether the Frankie is still alive or dead. Only God knew. In India, in Punjab, Frankie is alive or dead, God knows. Mr. Gupta girl said, Mr. Gupta's girl said, my mother has not been ill like this before. The Maggie told to writer, Mr. Gupta, my mother has never been ill like this before. I have been read in books of Indians. I have read in books that Indians love the truth. Maggie said, if you could bring yourself to tell my mother only once, after looking into the crystal, that Frankie is alright and he is alive, will it be too much of lie? Will it be very dumb? Maggie requested to author, the writer, Indians love the truth, I know, but still then you have to say a lie. What is lie? You hold the crystal, and holding the crystal, you said that the Frankie is alive and fine and active. Okay, Frankie is alive. So, a writer now is confused what to do and not to do. I thought it over. Writer thought again and again. I am not writer thought himself that I am not a virtuous man. I am not so virtuous man. Virtuous means I am not so good, having good qualities. I am not a virtuous man. So I decided to do this. So writer decided to obey made the decision to obey the order of obey the decision what the Maggie told. So I decided to do this at least of my offenses. Offenses means crime. Okay. Maggie brought me the ring. Maggie gave me the ring. I took it and approached her mother's bedside. Approach means came near. That means a writer went to mother bedside. Mother's approached her mother's bedside, wishing her good morning, and wished her good morning and said, Mrs. Bethy, your son is alive and well. Your son is alive well. Listening that, Maggie's mother became conscious and remembered he is an Indian and what he is saying is true news. What he is saying is true news. News is true. The old man raised her hand. The old man raised her head. Little of the pillow. Pillow means a cushion that you put on our head. Okay? Pillow. Tears of happiness welled up in her eyes. Tears of happiness. Tear means drops of water. Tears means drop of water came. Tears means drop of water came while crying. Tears of happiness came welled up in her eyes. Welled up means appear. Drops of water came from eyes and appeared. The old man raised her head and little of the pillow. Tears of happiness welled up in her eyes. Mrs. Bethy soon recovered. Mrs. Bethy very soon recovered. That means he was illness. Gradually he became in a normal condition. Okay, in a normal condition. It was the time for me to return India. The writer lives to India. He went to England for some time. Now time to return to India. I wished to go to say goodbye. Writer thought again for the third time I will go to Maggie's house, say goodbye to Maggie and her mother. But in the family was mourning. When for the third time he went there and he saw that the family was mourning. Mourning means lamenting. All are crying. What mourning? The Frankie had been killed in a fighting in the frontier. Frankie had been killed in the frontier. The borderline. In the borderline, Frankie had been killed in the frontier while fighting. I calculated that and found that Frankie had been dead some days when I told his mother that he was alive and well, and felt ashamed. When writer touching the crystal, going beside the bed, when the Mrs. Bethy was illness, and told in front of her that your son is alive and well. Then very soon the mother recovered, but news came later. News came that Frankie had been dead fighting in the frontier. So knowing this, writer felt ashamed and to face Mrs. Bethy. So I wrote a letter to them. Announcing my departure and bidding them goodbye. Declare that I am going to departure England onto my. It was almost time for me to return India. I wished to go to say goodbye to Maggie and her mother, but the family was mourning. Okay, the family was mourning. That means after a few days, the writer time to return to India. He went to Maggie and her family. Her mother, he went to Maggie's house to wish goodbye. But the family was mourning. Mourning means lamenting. The family was mourning. The reason is the news of Frankie's death had reached them. The writer made a calculation and found that Frankie had been killed some days before when he told Mrs. Betty that your son is alive and well. The family morning, Frankie had been killed in the fighting in the frontier. I calculated and found that Frankie had been killed. Frankie had been dead some days when I told his mother that he was alive and well. I felt ashamed to face Mrs. Betty. I felt ashamed to face Mrs. Betty. So I wrote a letter to them, announcing, declaring my departure and bidding them goodbye. Goodbye. The morning of my last day in the London dawned. The morning of the last day, when the writer will leave the place, the departure time, the very early morning, the London dawned. Dawned means earlier. Dawn means the very early morning. Very early morning, I was to leave that night. As I was having my breakfast, there is a knock sound at the door. The writer listened some knocking at the door. The Maggie had come to say goodbye. And she was wearing a black dress. Are you leaving today? Maggie put the question. Are you leaving today? She asked. Writer told yes. I replied yes. Today is the day of my departure. Arrival, departure. Arrival, opposite word is departure. How long will it take to reach your country? Maggie put the question. In which part of the country do you live? She wanted to know. Maggie put two questions. How long will it take to reach your country? And in which part of the country do you live? I have entered in Punjab service. Writer told, I have entered the Punjab service. I shall not know exactly where I am posted until my arrival. I can say, I have posted Punjab. I can say the exact place. Is the frontier very far from there? Borderline, is it far from here? Frontier. The line where one country joins another border. Frontier. The girl's eyes filled with tears when she spoke. When I go to that part of country, I shall visit your brother's grave and write to you. Don't worry. The writer consoled him. When I will go that part of my country, I shall visit your brother's grave and write to you. Grave means where the dead person was buried. Dead. That's the third paragraph. Third in it. Now you answer the following questions. First question. How did Maggie open the door? The question. How did Maggie open the door? Maggie opened the door by a thin latch key. Maggie opened the door by a thin latch key. Okay. Second question. Write the opposite word of widow. Write the opposite word of widow. Widow, the opposite word is widower. Okay. Question number 3. Who prepared tea for Mr. Gupta? Who prepared tea for Mr. Gupta? Answer is Mrs. Bethy. Okay, Mrs. Bethy. Thank you. This is all about Unit 3 of the priceless gift. Okay.